I think the biggest challenge with YouTube is really just balance. There was definitely like a period in the first couple of years where I was just completely way off on the life balance front. I think I still am definitely not where I should be. It's pretty much 7 days a week. So like when I get home tonight from this, it'll be back to recording and everything. Normally I'll start recording at about lunchtime, say 12 p.m. Pretty much working straight from 12 until about 3 or 4 a.m. and that's normally when I just schedule the video, go to sleep, wake up at 10 a.m. the next day, have breakfast and start at 12 all over again. So it's a lot of hours, but it's obviously a job that is so fun and I really enjoy like trying to create something new every day.
Thank you so much, Muselk, for joining me on our next episode of Be The Drop here at Hybrid World Adelaide.
Thanks for having me.
And you've literally just come in and you've got some things you're doing downstairs, which you might be able to tell us about in a bit, and then you're flying out again. But this is nothing new for you, a bit of an international lifestyle these days.
No, yeah, flying around a lot. I mean, a lot of, gaming happens all over the world, so there's a lot of stuff in LA, a lot of kind of big events happen over in Germany, like Gamescom, so a lot of flying, but it's fun. It's really good. You get to see all these places and meet people.
So you started your YouTube channel back in 2012, yeah?
More like 2014, really. Okay. I didn't really post videos till 2014.
Till 2014. Okay, so that's not that long ago.
No.
And since then, what is your subscriber number now up to? It's millions. It's getting close to 6?
Yeah, it's like, I think I'll probably hit 6 next week, which will be cool. That'll be a nice little celebration.
A nice little...
Yeah. But like,
okay, but...
It's 10 or bust.
All right, but I mean, that's pretty good. Like, you're playing it down there, but 6 million subscribers is pretty huge. And so from 2014, 2018, that's a lot to happen in 4 years.
Yeah, YouTube's a pretty crazy ride. Like things can just happen so fast, like getting that first 100,000 takes longest time. And then, getting to 1 million, that feels like that takes ages. And then it can just suddenly kind of spitball out of control, snowball out of control. That's the word I'm using.
Yeah. Spitball,
spitball, snowball, it's all the same thing. Yeah, and then it just, it can go bananas. And then in 2 years, I'll probably not have a job and be working at McDonald's. But it's fine.
Hey, well, let's not go doom and gloom just yet. But when you started posting videos, what was your expectation? Is this what you expected?
Oh no, I always loved, YouTube, and I had favorite YouTubers. I was, obsessed with some channels, like watched them every single day. And it was one of those things where growing up, I was like, man, being a YouTuber would be awesome, but kind of the same way that you can like music, but never realistically consider that's probably, that you could become like a proper musician. You just kind of still do it because you enjoy it. With games, for me, when I first started uploading videos, it was never like trying to become a YouTuber. I was just uploading like little clips and tutorials and like just stuff that I found fun to have as a hobby.
Yeah, and I mean, like it sounds like a lot of fun. You're making a living playing video games, very cool. But I kind of feel like there's a bit of hard work that goes into it. Like if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So maybe what's the hours that go into this?
It's pretty much 7 days a week. So like when I get home tonight from this, it'll be back to recording and everything. Normally I'll start recording at about lunchtime, say 12 p.m. Normally I'll keep recording until about 8 p.m. So 6 or 8 hours of kind of recording with like maybe a little break in the middle. And then normally edit from about 8 p.m. till midnight, and then you're rendering videos, and then you got to make a thumbnail. That normally takes about 2 hours a lot of the time because they're really important. So normally I'll be pretty much working straight from 12 until about 3 or 4 a.m. and that's normally when I just schedule the video, go to sleep, wake up at 10 a.m. the next day, have breakfast and start at 12 all over again. So it's a lot of hours, but it's obviously a job that is so fun and I really enjoy like trying to create something new every day. And yeah, so because of that, it doesn't feel like too much of a grind.
Yeah. Does it get to the point where you're like, what is something new? Like, you're doing this, there's a lot of 7 days a week. How do you keep that feeling creative and fresh?
Yeah, that's honestly the biggest struggle with making videos is, when a game first comes out, it's so easy to make videos because it's just everything is new. And it's almost like this barrel of ideas, and the more ideas you take out of it and you've used, the less that's left in there and the harder you have to search to find them. So, I mean, I've got, a couple of friends, and we a lot of the time spend the first 2 hours of our day just sitting there being like, what about this idea? What about that one? And then being like, that one's lame, but it's literally the best thing I've got right now. We're gonna have to do it. And just trying to come up with something new. And a lot of the time, Fortnite, which I play a lot of at the moment, they update every week, which is great because it helps so much with new stuff.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a lot of times where you're just sitting there like, man, I've got no ideas today. Literally nothing good.
Yeah, so and that would be a challenge. What sort of other challenges, what has been through this rise of fame, what's been the biggest challenges along the way?
I think the biggest challenge with YouTube is really just balance. I mean, YouTube itself, and I think most kind of people who do his job will tell you this, it's incredibly addictive in the sense that, because unlike most jobs where it's just kind of, you do it, and obviously you can work harder and less hard, but the thing with YouTube is you get a report card every minute of every day, and at the end of every day you can see how many subscribers you got that day, how many views you got that day, how did your video perform, what was the like-dislike ratio, what are the comments saying, and because of that, you kind of no one wants to be going down on their trajectory, you always want to be going up. And because of this real-time data you get on how you're performing, it can be a really unhealthy addiction where you're like, okay, I got 5,000 subscribers today, I need to beat that tomorrow, and then you beat it the next day, and then you've got to keep going up. And because of that, it's all you want to do. You just want to keep beating those numbers, and then suddenly you haven't gone to the gym in 6 months, you have kind of probably not seeing your family as much as you should. And I think that there was definitely a period in the first couple of years where I was just completely way off on the life balance front. I think I still am definitely not where I should be, but I'm becoming a lot more conscious of, that ultimately I think if you've got that balance, your content will be better.
Yeah, and I mean, at least having the awareness is going to be the first step, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, we're here at Hybrid World Adelaide, which is exactly really about that, what you're talking about there, because it's the collision of technology and digital entertainment and the real world and where that evolves. What other things do you see sort of coming into this really exciting concept of, where we are now with technology?
I mean, I think one of the interesting things that I notice, I think Australia is way further behind on than anywhere else in the world, and I'm hoping, is one of the things I'm excited to see really change is just the kind of perception of games. I know that when I was growing up, if I were to, sit on the couch and watch a movie for 2 hours, my parents would have no problem with that. That was seen, or watch TV or the footy or anything on a screen for 2 hours, no problem. But if I were to sit down and play a game for 2 hours, that was seen as this really bad thing, when in reality, games are incredible. You've got Minecraft, which is literally like digital Lego, where you essentially just take Lego to whole new levels. And then you've got, all the Fortnite where you're playing with your squad and you're there's teamwork, there's creativity, there's communication, there's dancing, dance moves, exactly, this is the key thing. But I think there's a huge number of positive to games that I think people are beginning to see more and more. And obviously, like we were saying, balance, key, very important. Yeah. But also, I'm hoping there's a bit more awareness of the positivity that can come out of it, because honestly, games are incredible. And
another platform that you're engaging with is via Twitch. Now, I must admit, I don't really understand it as much, but and this is where the live streaming really comes into. So can you maybe, first of all, just explain, because potentially some of my listeners might not understand it as well. It might be an age thing for me, but explain that. And then I've got a couple of questions around this live streaming and commentary.
My main thing is obviously YouTube, where it's a recording, which you then, might record for 8 hours and edit that into a 20-minute video. So it's kind of just highly edited bite-sized content. But then Twitch is literally just stream of consciousness, everything as it happens, live, kind of like a live, football match. It's a very different experience. I mean, I find it much harder because with recording, I can play for an hour and then say, okay, I just want 20 minutes to just decompress, have a cup of tea, chill out, then I'll get back into it. On Twitch, normally once you start, you're there for 6-7 hours of just you have to be there. Obviously you can go grab a drink, but you can't switch off. You need to be in full-on, switched-on mode from start to finish, which is hard.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is that you're commentating and playing.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned it's like football, but the commentators are not playing the game. So I'm all like, whoa, that's like left, right brain happening at the same time. Is that challenging?
I think the way I always described it is, you know, when you're a kid, you read books out loud and then they teach you to read them in your head. I find YouTube commentary is almost learning to do the reverse. You've already got all these thoughts in your mind where you see something cool, your brain's like, holy crap, that's amazing. Whereas like YouTube commentary is literally just learning to vocalize what you're thinking. So that's why you're talking about what you're doing, what you're like, where you're going, why you're going there. This is cool, this sucks. I'm really scared right now, you know? It's just really taking what you're already thinking and just putting words to it. And people think that you know, some YouTubers like are acting or, you know, like talking more than they normally would, but it's really just kind of learning to, vocalize that internal thought process.
Yeah. I stand by that. I think it's a skill. Like it's like the rub your head, pat your tummy. It's no.
Yeah, no, it definitely takes a bit of practice, but once you get it down, it's pretty, you know, then you end up like someone like me who just doesn't shut up ever.
Yeah, that's all right. So, okay, what sort of advice then would you give to someone who, you know, was you those years ago going, wow, I'd love to be like that YouTuber, you know, and you made that happen. So, you know, is there some sort of advice that you would give?
This was kind of the case back when I started, and it's definitely the case now, like even more so than ever, which is that one of the hard things about getting into YouTube is that everyone can do it. Like it's great. It's amazing because, you know, literally anyone can just have a half-decent computer with recording software and upload it. I think one of the YouTubers I watch, Casey, like he once said this line that I really liked, which was, I hit the same upload button that everyone else does. There's no special treatment really on the platform.
Yeah.
So, but then the question becomes, how do you get your head above and get that initial momentum to really kickstart and become, you know, a channel that has that momentum? And I think ultimately it just comes down to you either need to be the best at what you're doing, which is very hard considering, you know, in terms of being an entertainer, there are these professionals who have been doing it for years now on YouTube, and you're never going to be more entertaining and like well done as them because it's just what they've done, they've perfected it. So I think the real thing you've got to try and do is just be unique. You've got to find your own niche. You've got to find what's something I can bring to YouTube content that no one else can. So for me, that was really just doing dumb strategies to win games, and that kind of became what I was known for. And because of that, that's the kind of content where people will see something unique and they'll be like, oh, go to their friend and be like, yo, dude, you got to watch this video. Then they share it, and then they share it, and that's what kind of gives you that momentum. And if you can offer something unique, then that's what's going to make people actually want to see more from you.
Yeah, fantastic. And so, for example of that would be the recent one where some guy was stuck off the side and you had to use the golf cart or something. Like, you know, is that the sort of stuff? Because that got a bit of attention.
Yeah, you know, you don't just want to play the game, because obviously, like, if you're playing the game, that's not, you're like, there is an enemy off the cliff, I'm going to kill him and get my KD ratio up. But you know, you see someone down there, and that's just like, you can just tell they're like the potential when there's like a moment that you just are so excited to share with people. And the idea of like a rescue mission off the side of a cliff is great. And also, like, I'm always of the mindset that, you know, playing a game properly you can do any time, but those like special chances to have like something unique happen, they come around much more rare. So you've got to jump on those. Like, you see a man stranded off the side of the cliff, if you don't go into rescue mode, then what are you doing?
It didn't quite work out though.
No, it didn't. And that is why my rescue license has been revoked. But I tried, and that's the key thing.
You did try, the intent was there. Well, thank you so much for sharing
Thanks for having me.
your insights with us.
No worries.
Cheers.